Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things law, true crime, a little bit of debauchery. Are you guys ready to jump into this Diddy stuff? A lot has been happening over these past few weeks. We're finally back from our creators retreat, so we're really excited about that and getting back into regular scheduled content. We have had our eye on this case, and it looks like there are some new scheduling developments when it comes to Diddy's trial. And here are some of the things. The trial is now set for May 5th, right? So we know Cinco de Mayo is Cinco de Diddy, right? It is why it had to fall on that day, I don't know, but it is Cinco de Diddy. Now, do me a favor, hit the like button on your way in because I'm going to give you these dates when it comes to this trial. But the other thing that we're going to talk about is his request for what? The freak off tapes. I don't know why his legal team wants to see the freak off tapes. We're gonna learn about it. We're gonna talk about it. All of that. The freak off tapes. So we're gonna talk about the freak off tapes. Do me a favor and hit the like button on your way in. So we have some pretrial motions coming. Those dates are ranging from February to March. Looks like motions are due on February 17th. So those are coming in. The oppositions to those motions are due on March 3rd. And then replies are also due on March 10th. Now, there's a very, very big document coming, and it's called an enterprise letter. Mark your calendars for February 1st. It's approximately about 2-3 weeks away. Why is that a big deal? Well, dear viewer, this enterprise letter is a big deal because that is where the names will be named. The people that are parties to this lawsuit, involved in this lawsuit, witnesses to this lawsuit, all of those things. And remember, I'm saying lawsuit, but let's keep in mind, these are criminal charges brought against Diddy by the government. So we are now going to start to see who the key players in this trial, who they are going to be. Definitely have our eye on this one. That enterprise letter is coming out on February 1st. Cannot wait to see what's happening. Next, we have expert notices coming from the government, coming from Diddy's defense team, and there is a rebuttal. A lot of that's going to take place in March 7th, March 14th, and March 21st. All of those 7 days apart. So it's heating up because we are now starting to see the pre-trial process get live, right? And emotions in limine are due in April. And then before you know it, guys, we are going to be keeping up with the Diddy trial. Couple things. Let me say hi to a few of you guys in the chat, and then we will jump into this document where we're going to look at the 7-page request for the freak off tapes, why they want them. But here's the most important thing. Diddy's team requesting these tapes is almost an admission that they exist. So why would you do that? I mean, oh my gosh. The freak off tapes exist. Tapes in plural, meaning more than one. So we're going to read all about that. Let's see who we have in the building. Shout out to Fake Human, who drops cassette emojis. Thank you, thank you. Roxanne Shante. I love her picture. Hope you're doing well, Miss Roxanne. Michelle is in here. Derek is here. He says, good morning. This is Derek. Good morning, Derek. This is AV. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome, welcome. Tyree, it's been a minute. Hope you're doing well, Tyree. Akeem says, top of the morning, top of the afternoon to you, where I am. But good to see you, Akeem. Deanra, one of my faves, is in here as well. Says, good afternoon, AV and chat. And then YT Johnson says, I thought recordings were digital. There's a VHS cassette on the thumbnail. Is AV having fun? You know I got to play. You know I have to play with creativity, right? I got tapes of you. And that's the other thing. We call them tapes, but are they tapes anymore in 2025? Good to see you, YT Johnson. Mixed Chick is in the building. Good to see you, Mixed Chick. Hope you had a great start to the new year. A girl from Texas is in the building. It's good to see you, a girl from Texas. Hope you're also having a great start to the new year. B Rich is in here. YT Johnson says, Cinco de Diddy. Cinco de Diddy. That's what's going to be happening. Jinga's in here, says hello, hello. Sir Nightwolf, haven't seen you in a minute, Miss Nurse Janice, one of our favorites. What time is it, Nurse Janice? I think it's early. It's early. Sometimes Nurse Janice checks in from the UK and she's watching us very, very late in her time of the world. So good to see you, Nurse Janice. Monique is in the building as well. Walter says, hey, AV, hope you're having a great week. You too, Walter. D. Scott, JR too. Tron Zero, Cinco de Diddy. Yes, a girl from Texas hits us with her membership there. And she says, it's been a long time since I actually received a notification. Missed you, pretty lady. It's great to see you. Hey, chat fam. Yes, guys, because here's the thing. We just got back from DR. Like a few days ago. We were there for a creators retreat. I do have some of the pictures from it. It was amazing. Got a chance to spend time with some of the biggest creators on this platform. I think one person had 25 million. A lot of people had over 1 million subscribers. And I just learned so much from them about how YouTube actually works and how to be successful on this platform. More to come on that. I'm gonna save some of the pictures. We have amazing things coming. We are going to be doing a little bit of documentary style film as well. So we just filmed our first episode this past weekend. I got another filming shoot this Saturday. We are going in and I can't wait. We want to just bring trial streaming to a different level. Like so much about YouTube is connecting with you guys. Sometimes y'all watch me in your living room, on your TV, from your phone, whatever you're doing throughout the day. Connection is everything. Right? Some of y'all, when we were watching the YSL trial, were like, oh my God, it feels like you're my coworker and we're just watching this together. That's what we do here. That's what we do. And we're going to continue to elevate. So I'm really, really excited about that. So good to see you, a girl from Texas. Are y'all ready to jump into this Diddy debauchery? Yes, it was Punta Cana. We were in Punta Cana. I like to throw a little Boston spin on there. But yeah, we were in Punta Cana. It was amazing. Everybody thought I was Dominican for some reason. But it was a lot of fun. I will show pictures a little bit later. Shout out to Petty LaBelle in the chat with $50 for a super chat kicking us off. She says, just because. Thank you so much, Petty. And Petty, I hope you are doing well. She's one of my favorite subs, fellow creator, doing her thing out here, and kicks us off with a $50 super chat. Thank you so much, Petty. And again, blessings to you. Wishing you a speedy recovery. All right, guys, let's jump in to this debauchery, get the banner going, hit the like button as we look at this document, examine it, see what's going on with Diddy. Are y'all ready? Well, let's go. We are going to check this out here. So what do we got? This is a document that was filed yesterday, I think midday, late last night, and it comes from Diddy's legal team. Now, what do they say? They say, hey, this is the judge. We're sending you a letter. We write on behalf of our client, Sean Combs, right? And look at what I can do now, guys. I can highlight. I got this new tool over here. I'm going to be sitting here drawing. It's going to be fun. Hope y'all are having a good day. That's my open heart. Okay, to request a modification of the terms of a protective order to require the government to electronically produce videos describes in paragraphs 12A and 12C in the indictment. The protective order includes a novel provision making this video evidence available for inspection only and not electronically produced. Having reviewed these videos, it is now abundantly clear that they confirm Mr. Combs' innocence and that their full exploratory value cannot be investigated and used unless they are electronically produced. Rule 16A, A1E expressly requires copies of such materials to the defense, and there is no plausible good cause to restrict access from them under 16D1. Accordingly, they should be produced in a normal course so that the defense may evaluate and use them in the same manner as the Rule 16 and Brady material. Now, if you guys remember, we talked a little bit about Brady material in the YSL case. Why did we talk about that? Well, we talked about it because particularly when it came to the YSL case, Brady material is evidence that could show somebody's innocence. So allegedly, There are, the defense is trying to use the fact that they believe that Diddy is innocent. Now, if the prosecution has these tapes, they are freak off tapes. It shows that he had to be in the frame or in the room or something along those lines, because they're saying that these tapes prove that Diddy is innocent. Is he? We saw the Cassie tape, so we know that the Cassie tape might be one of the pieces of evidence. But what this indicates is that there are more pieces of evidence here, right? So let's keep going and see what else they come up with as far as these tapes. 1 second, guys, I'm toggling. Build it as you fly it. Here it is. Okay, so there are 9 videos altogether, and they are so-called freak-off tapes with victim one, that the government has repeatedly referenced, causing wild speculation from the media. Contrary to what the government has led this court and public to believe, the so-called freak-off tapes were private sexual activity between fully consenting adults in a long-term relationship. I know they're not talking about Cassie. So you guys have 9 videos, freak-off tapes. Victim 1 may be Cassie. We're speculating that it could be Cassie, but it is somebody that was they were in a long-term relationship. Shout out to Henry Resilient. I haven't seen you in forevs, man. Hope you're doing well. 9 tapes. You guys say just 9, but it is likely that there are many others, right? I want to see, once the names are dropped of who else is involved, there could be likely more, right? So if the person was in a long-term relationship with Diddy, we can infer that it is likely Cassie. Another option can be Kim Porter, but it is very likely that it's Cassie, right? Who do you guys think it is? The name shall be named Odie. Y'all let me know in the chat. Who do you think victim 1 is, right? Let's keep going. We know as a clue, and they're dropping it here, that the person was in a long-term relationship with him. Like many Americans in the privacy of their own bedrooms, they sometimes film their sexual activity. Hold on. Oh my God, I cannot with this document. Some of y'all saying Cassie, most of y'all saying Cassie, some of y'all saying J-Lo. Interesting, I didn't even think of J-Lo. Ron says Beyonce. Michelle says Young Miami. Good guesses, y'all. Good guesses. So I don't like this sentence. Like many Americans in the privacy of their own bedrooms, they sometimes film their sexual activity. Put a 1 in the chat if you filmed ever. And be honest if you've ever filmed it. Put a 2 in the chat if you've never filmed it. I mean, I don't know. But the fact that they put, like many Americans in the privacy of their own bedrooms, they sometimes film their activity. All the men are like 1. Oh my God. Y'all be out here. Domo says 2. Aquarius says 1. Rodney says 1. Okay. All right. I guess many Americans are out there filming it. Okay. All right. Well, they've got 9. Santa says 2. Santa, I watched a documentary on you this morning. It was amazing. Did y'all know that there's actually a saint? Saint Nicholas. Kris Kringle was actually a saint. There's some religious connotations out there. Saint Nick is actually was a real human at one point. So shout out to Kris Kringle entering the chat. Coming back to this, apparently all y'all are out there getting it on and filming it. Allegedly, like many Americans in the privacy of their own bedrooms, they filmed their activity. These videos unambiguously show that the person alleged in this indictment to be victim 1 not only consented, but thoroughly enjoyed herself. I'm done. What? No, they didn't. So the first part of the sentence is making it seem like filming is normal. And according to our poll here, it seems like it is normal. People are filming. But they are saying that these videos show that the person in this indictment to be victim one not only consented, but thoroughly enjoyed herself. If it's Cassie, was she thoroughly enjoying herself getting dragged down the hallway? Was she thoroughly enjoying herself when she was trying to escape with no shoes on, trying to get in that elevator and leave? When a man is sprinting like he's in the Olympics in a towel, barefoot, bare ass, came to get her, threw things at her. She was thoroughly enjoying herself. I can't. Now, you're also going to notice in this document, guys, and I know that over the next few months and weeks leading up to this trial, they're going to do much more of this. You don't see it on the prosecutor's side, but you see it on the defense side. These black labels, or at least these coverings on the document, we call these redactions. This is a very public trial. And sometimes if you have somebody's name and, victim one, they're concealing her name for a reason, they are also including some redactions as this is made public to the media and the like, right? So we don't know what the next sentence says, but they start off by saying that she thoroughly enjoyed herself. These recordings corroborate what witnesses have told the government, namely that victim one, question mark here, we don't know what the heck this says. So it's something about victim one that probably is going to talk about her identity. So they redacted it. These recordings also directly refute the allegations that Mr. Combs kept these videos as collateral. Notice these quotations. They're saying that these videos were not collateral, right? What does that mean? That means that it is alleged that Diddy would hold these tapes, to either blackmail people, hold it against them. But remember, we're talking about the 9. These recordings were not on Mr. Combs' devices and were seized from his homes. Rather, victim one kept these videos on her own device for years and produced them to the government herself. Wow. Okay, guys. So allegedly, Diddy's legal team is saying, hey, you guys have these 9 videos. You didn't get them from us. You got them from someone else. In fact, you got them from victim one herself, and she kept the videos. She's the one who gave it to you guys. You didn't get it in the raid. You got it from the victim. So now, do you see how they're trying to spin this? If victim one is indeed Cassie, they're trying to put this on Cassie or whoever it is. They're putting it back on the victim. Like, victim, hey, if you weren't thoroughly enjoying yourself, why did you keep these 9 pieces of footage? Why did you keep these freak off tapes? So this is a bombshell, y'all. Very, very big one. It looks like there is a protective order footnote here. It says that a protective order requires the parties to meet and confer regarding any dispute over the government's designations, after which the defense may seek de-designation by the court. We have conferred with the government counsel who oppose this request. Interesting. Let's go to page 2. Moreover, contrary to innumerable sensationalistic media reports, the videos do not depict sex parties. There are no secret cameras, no orgies, no other celebrities involved, no underground tunnels, no minors, and not so much as a hint of coercion or violence. It's a pretty strong statement from Diddy's defense team. Far from the government's lurid descriptions, the videos show adults having consensual sex, plain and simple. At the bottom, this case is about whether victim one was or was not a willing participant in her private sex life with Mr. Combs. The videos confirm that she plainly was. All right, so huge. This is why this is important, y'all, because it's showing us how Diddy's team is going to position themselves at trial. They are telling you right here, this little 7-page document gives you a preview of what the trial is going to look like. It's very likely that he's going to maintain a not guilty admission, saying that he's not guilty of these crimes. And this shows you legal strategy. They're going to pin it back on the victim and say, hey, the victim was a willing participant. And we need these freak off videos, Judge, because they're not freak offs. It's a video between a man and a woman that were in a relationship. That's Diddy's position as of right now. Let's go into the background and what they have here. And y'all let me know. Let me know in the chat what you think about their position so far. Put a G if you think he's guilty, and put a NG if you think he's not guilty. I don't know. But the fact is, you're admitting that these freak off videos exist, but you're not calling them freak off videos. B Rich says G. Let's go to the background. Soon after Mr. Combs was charged, the parties began negotiating the terms of a protective order. During those negotiations, the government insisted over defense objection that certain videos obtained from victim one in depicting alleged freak-offs, look at the quotations, they use it again right here, would not be electronically produced and would instead only be made available for in-person viewing while monitored by law enforcement. The government explained that victim one, whose attorneys gave these videos to the government, requested that they not be produced to protect her privacy and that the government would honor that request. To ensure we would receive discovery without delay, the defense agreed to receive the discovery under those conditions while reserving the right on the proposed order to later seek modifications of designations from the court. That was in October. The court so ordered the proposed protective order. After spending 4 weeks attempting to schedule viewing of the evidence, the defense was finally able to watch the videos under supervision of law enforcement on November 20th and December 13th. There's a footnote for December 13th. The government also included for in-person inspection certain explicit photos of victim one sent to Mr. Combs. The government redacted these photos from the copies of communications between victim one and Mr. Combs that were produced in discovery, even though such photographs do not fall within the scope of footnote 3 in the protective order. These photos also appear to reflect entirely consensual sex activity. And it looks like there is a hidden footnote for footnote 3. We'll see where that comes up. Looks like it comes up here. The evidence consists of 9 videos depicting 6 unambiguously consensual sexual encounters. Okay, well, let's break that down. So there are 6 of them, right? So there's 9 videos in total, right? And then you have 6 of them that are with 2 people. So let's just put the 2 here. Now, that means that there are 3 others that likely don't have 2 people in them. So are those freak off videos? Like what's happening with the 3? What are happening? What is happening with the 3? I really want to know. In all 6 of these encounters, victim one is not only consenting, she is evidently happy, dominant, and completely in control. Wow. There is no evidence of any violence, coercion, threats, or manipulation whatsoever. There is no evidence that anyone is anticipated or under the influence of drugs or excessive alcohol consumption. There is certainly no evidence of sex trafficking. Yeah, but what's in this big block right here that you guys are hiding from us? What are these sentences? That's about 4 lines that we can't see, y'all. And then they also hid something down here for footnote 3. So they want these videos, and the only way that the defense team can watch the videos is if they are with law enforcement, and that's how they can examine these pieces of evidence, right? So 9 videos altogether, 6 of which it seems to be victim one and Diddy, and apparently the victim is happy. They are not telling us what is in these remaining 3 videos. That's probably what's in this paragraph that's hidden, because it might contain names. Because remember, if 6 of them have 2 people in them, then the other 3 maybe don't have 2 people in them. Maybe it's more than 2. So we can infer that, right? Interesting. Let's go here to page 3. It looks like they're now coming to some authority. They say Rule 16 requires electronic production of the videos, and there is no good cause to withhold production. So this is the authority that tells the defense team is telling the judge, like, hey, you know, they can't do this. They cannot withhold these videos. We should be able to get them and view them. Rule 16 requires the electronic production of these videos. Specifically, Rule 16 states that the government must permit the defendant to inspect and to copy data that is within the government's possession, custody, and control. And that is material to preparing the defense. As a direct evidence undermining the core of the government's case, freak-off activity is the core of this case. These videos are unquestionably material. Evidence is material if it could be used to counter the government's case or to bolster a defense. And it looks like they cited that from a 1993 case, a 2013 case, things of the like. They say, Judge, the court's authority to enter or modify a protective order stems from Rule 16, which provides that anytime the court may, for any good cause, deny, restrict, or defer discovery or inspection, or grant other appropriate relief. All right, so they pulled that. Rule 16 grants district courts the discretion to establish conditions under which the defense may obtain access to discoverable information. Under Rule 16D, the party seeking that a protective order has the burden of showing good cause exists for issuance of that order, and good cause remains the standard even when the parties consent to a stipulated protective order. So they want the judge to hand over the videos. Right. And they're citing a bunch of case law that shows that the judge has the authority to do that. Like the government, the Department of Homeland Security kicked in the door, waving the 4-4, and they are the ones that raided Diddy's homes. Right. Now, they are probably the government body that started the investigation, but because it is sensitive in nature, they are the ones that has the custody over these 9 videos. Right? The defense team can look at them, but they don't have copies of them. And that's what they're trying to convince the judge to do is it's not fair that we can only see these videos with law enforcement and the other side is building up this case against our client, the defendant, Diddy. We want to be able to inspect these videos more. And they're saying, for example, in 6 of them, the evidence is weak. It seems to be 2 consenting adults having a good time. That's what they're saying. It also says a party can demonstrate good cause for the issuance of a protective order when the party shows that the disclosure will result in a clearly defined specific or serious injury, such as compromising the privacy interests of innocent third parties. That's probably what it is. Causing a risk of harm to law enforcement or others, or impeding ongoing government investigations. The government cannot meet its burden. There's no good cause to prevent the electronic production of these highly exculpatory videos. So notice that language. They're saying that these videos actually go to show Diddy's innocence rather than guilt. Because this case does not involve classified information or child, pornography, there is no authority to restrict defense counsel's possession, review, and analysis of these videos. Nothing in the Crime Victims' Rights Act provides similar discovery restrictions or an exception to Rule 16. Moreover, any concerns regarding victim one's privacy interests are adequately protected by the remaining provisions of this protective order. There is no greater risk in granting defense counsel a copy of the files for preparation of its defense under a suitable protective order than exists in the government's maintenance and use of the files in preparation of its own case. Let's go to page 4. The government is free to designate the material as attorney's possession only, which would require the material to be maintained in a safe and secure manner by defense counsel. Should not be possessed by the defendant except in the presence of the defendant's counsel, and shall not be disclosed in any form. Indeed, APO designation is for the precise purpose of addressing potential risk to the privacy and safety of the victims or witnesses and sufficiently mitigates any risk of disclosure. So they're saying, hey, judge, if you give it to us, we're not going to share it. He's not going to have access to it. He's in jail, but he can view it with us as we get ready for our defense and our position for trial. Even if there were some remaining privacy concern, any hypothetical risk that the videos would be disclosed in contravention of this court's protective order is substantially outweighed by the real and substantial risk that Mr. Combs' defense will be hampered by limited access to the videos. This is where they're talking about Diddy's rights. He has limited access to these videos. They need it to prepare for his defense. And you can already see how they're coming out and saying, hey, we don't, you could see their position. That if you look at 6 of these videos, she looks like she's having a good time. Why can't we have them? And you can see how he's building his innocence here and how they're trying to build it. Unless the protective order is modified to require the government to produce copies of the videos, the defense will not be able to effectively make use of this critical evidence at trial. The videos include audio recording, but much of it is inaudible on the device provided for inspection. And what is barely audible requires headphones to hear. On certain videos, the lighting is also very bad and the images are quite dark and grainy. Mr. Combs needs to use defense experts, including inter alia, experts who could enhance the quality of the audio and video and analyze the metadata associated with the videos, including when the videos were created and modified. That's why they want it. They want it because they want to be able to poke holes on it, in it, right? And also inspect them. If they can be enhanced, that's something that the defense team is willing to pay for and get them enhanced in preparation for trial, right? They also want to look at the metadata to see, did this really come from victim one's device on their phone? Was it changed? Was it altered? I mean, in fairness, the defense team wants to see it for those reasons, and they can't right now. It's in the government's control. It's in the government's possession. They're the ones that are in control. So is it really fair if a defendant is trying to show their innocence that it's on the government side? So if I'm a defense attorney, I can't look at it. How is it that there's evidence that we both need to be inspecting, both sides, but only one side has control and access over it? So that's what Diddy's lawyers are saying here to the judge. They're like, it's not fair. Here's the case law that shows that it's not fair. Here's what we want to do with it. We're not going to share the videos. We just want to simply inspect them and prepare our defense strategy. The government has offered to use a neutral expert to enhance the audio and visual quality of the videos. This novel proposal is inconsistent with Rule 16 and due process, and it would restrict Diddy from retaining and directing experts of his choosing and require him to unfairly preview his defense. It also does not account for the other ways Mr. Combs seeks to put the evidence to use. For example, Diddy may need to show the recordings to other experts or witnesses, consistent with the terms of the protective order. Diddy will also need to extract portions of the videos to create trial exhibits, stills, and transcripts. All the tasks will be impossible without obtaining copies of the video evidence. In sum, there is a much greater likelihood that the defendant will be harmed in his ability to prepare defense by limited access of the materials on the government's terms than there is that the materials will be further distributed by the defense in contravention of the court's order. Diddy is entitled to put this evidence into use for trial. So that's why they want it. And you can really see like they're going in on why they need it because they want to do things with it. If I have to call you and, be accompanied by a police officer every time I want to see the video, state or, prosecution team, is that really fair? Can we create exhibits? You guys remember the Jay-Z situation with Busby? They came up with this amazing timeline, But sometimes you need information and you need documents, you need records, you need other pieces of evidence to properly come up with a timeline like that to put it in front of the jury. Diddy's saying, I can't even have people or other experts look at these videos because the government is keeping them. And what's the content included in the video? 6 of which are, me and victim 1 getting it popping, right? The other 3, this is what we're inferring, guys. The other 3 likely contain other people included in the videos. Who's on those tapes? All right, now we get into some Brady discussion. The videos constitute exculpatory Brady material, and the restrictions on Mr. Combs' ability to use them in his trial preparation violate due process. So y'all learned a little bit about Brady. Brady also requires that the government produce copies of the video. They have to give it to the other side if it shows innocence. Under Brady, the government has a constitutional duty to disclose favorable evidence to the accused where such evidence is material, either to guilt or to punishment. It requires production of information such that a defendant can take advantage of the exculpatory evidence in time for its effective use at trial. An item is material to preparing for the defense under Rule 16, and if it could be used to counter the government's case or bolster a defense. It is troubling that the government has had this evidence since December of 2023. Damn, I thought it was 2024. They've had these videos since December. Oh, you know what I just put together, guys? Cassie's lawsuit came out the week of Thanksgiving in 2023. So if victim 1 is Cassie, she settled with Diddy in a day and then gave the government these 9 videos like a couple weeks later. If it's December of 2023, it's likely Cassie. It's likely Cassie, guys. The video evidence refutes the claim that victim 1 was forced to participate and can only be squared with her account if one assumes, as the government apparently does, that certain women cannot consent, despite all indications to the contrary. See bail appeal hearing at 15, arguing that when women are motivated by the loss of their livelihood and housing or experience abuse outside of freak-offs, they cannot consent. And that is sex trafficking. Okay, y'all. So this paragraph right here is very interesting in this document, because you're talking about consent, but this is showing you Diddy's strategy right here. The video evidence refutes the claim that victim 1 was forced to participate. He's trying to say that Cassie was lying. But how do you fight that when we have the hallway footage? We got you on camera, son. Like you are running down the hallway in a towel like a Spartan to go and get this woman who's trying to leave with no shoes on. So this is interesting. It really is, but let's keep going. The government's view also depends on the characterization of freak-offs as dirty, disgusting, and inherently unsavory, and therefore must have involved some amount of coercion. I mean, are you trying to make it seem like freak-offs are not dirty? There was one thing. Do y'all want to guess? I'm gonna draw it here. Why did he have all of this in his home? Why? Why did he have all the baby oil? Freak-offs are forever going to be associated with baby oil. When the raid happened, what did you need all of that oil for? And then there's another theory out there, guys, that There are some drugs that can be put into the human body through skin and absorbed through your skin, right? Yes, thank you, Miss D. That's what I was thinking. There is a rumor out there that the baby oil was laced, right? And that's how some people would be, result in being under the influence. Because in Cassie's complaint, she mentioned the baby oil. She mentioned that, he would want her to have white nails, and he wanted her to rub baby oil over her so she can, so the look and feel of everything would be a little bit different. But I don't know. Was it an opportunity to put drugs in it, and it's laced and it is absorbed through the skin? I don't know. It's gonna be a busy year, guys. Like, it really is gonna be a busy year. Somebody says so he can slip away. Y'all are funny. All right. Coughing Bird says, I threw out our baby oil. It gave me the heebie-jeebies sitting on the counter. For a while, I stopped getting my nails done white, guys, because it just reminded me of what happened to Cassie. Like, and there were times in the summertime, it is a nice color, but like, I try to refrain from painting my nails white. But do you guys see how this now is in our everyday lives? Like, we can't look at baby oil the same anymore. It's for babies. It's for infants, toddlers. Can never look at baby oil the same anymore. Okay. So the government's view also depends on the characterization of freak-offs as dirty, disgusting, or inherently unsavory, and therefore must have involved some amount of coercion. In the indictment, describing freak-offs as elaborate and produced sex performances that were arranged and depicted and sometimes lasted multiple days, referring to various freak-off supplies, including baby oil and lubricant. I called it. I didn't even read that sentence yet. I called it here. The premise that freak-offs are inherently dangerous, that happened at a bail hearing, shows that the government seeks to police non-conforming sexual activity, and that it assumes, despite all evidence to the contrary, that a woman's willing participation must have been coerced. Are we trying to normalize the words freak-offs? Is that what they're trying to do in this sentence? In this paragraph? Well, freak-offs aren't inherently bad. But how do you think when a jury is going to go into this room, they know what a freak-off is now. They're going to have a negative association with the term freak-off. So as much as you try to neutralize it in this crazy paragraph right here, you can neutralize the word freak off as much as you want, but it's already done. A jury is going to hear the words freak off and they're going to have a negative connotation with it. They just are. And they're trying to blame the government, saying that freak offs indicate that, like they're trying to play at the consent, and that if somebody participates in a freak off, that they're not consenting. And, what's interesting is that there were men that went to these freak-offs. There were some men that said that they didn't consent to some Diddy shenanigans. So, I don't know. Let's keep going to see what debauchery they're going to put in here. Any fair-minded viewer of these videos will quickly conclude that the prosecution of Diddy is both sexist and, oh my God, and puritanical. Oh, let me come back. All right. Prosecuting Diddy is sexist and puritanical. What does puritanical mean? It means that when people look at things that are pure, right? You're trying to keep pureness in things. Actually, let me give you guys the proper definition. Define puritanical. You don't see that word every day. Okay. Puritanical. It's practicing or affecting strict religious or moral behavior. freak-offs. They're not bad. Oh, okay. All right. Let me ask y'all. We're going to do, hold up. Let's put a poll up. Is when you hear the term, when you, dear viewer, hear the term freak off, does it sound dirty to you? Go ahead. Y'all vote. I want to see. I want to see what you guys think. When you hear the term freak off, does it sound dirty to you? All right, we got a few people voting. I cannot believe that this is their defense position so far. That this is sexist because he's a man. But what if the other victims are men? Is it still sexist? Is it, Diddy? This is the best they can come up with. Diddy might be in trouble with this defense strategy. It's not very strong at all. It's actually quite weak, in my opinion. It is sexist because the government's theory perpetuates stereotypes of female victimhood and lack of agency. The prosecution reflects a paternalistic view that the government is here to protect women. Oh, he's making this about gender. Who cannot be trusted to make their own decisions about sex. Oh my God. And are not capable of consenting to sex that the prosecutors view as outside the norm. These videos depict clearly consensual sex among willing adults in a decades-long relationship and fundamentally undermine the government's case and victim one's claims. Indeed, they are entirely consistent with something that they're hiding from us here. They are unquestionably Brady material, notwithstanding the government's outlandish theories, and we anticipate that the undisclosed audio portions and metadata will contain Brady material as well. So they're confident that these freak-off videos are going to free Diddy, to show that he is not guilty of these crimes, even though there have been how many lawsuits privately? Over 40. Some of them are crazy. Like, I'm not going to lie. You know, the one with Aaron Hall, that was wild, but interesting. At minimum, they are certainly not ultra-sensitive materials that need to be subject to extreme restrictions made outside of the normal because of discovery in criminal cases. Finally, preventing Diddy's defense team from obtaining copies of the videos so he can prepare his defense at trial would violate the due process clause and his right to present a meaningful defense. Courts must ensure that these constitutional rights, when fashioning discovery protections and determining whether to accord protection and to the extent of such protection, courts should weigh the impact this might have on a defendant's due process rights to prepare and present a full defense at trial. Even interests as strong as the state's secret privilege, a much greater interest than the purported interest here, must, in certain cases, give ways to a criminal defendant's right to present a meaningful defense. Because there is no good cause to restrict the defense counsel's access to the videos, and because the videos must be disclosed pursuant to Brady and Rule 16, we respectfully request that the protective order be modified to require the government to electronically produce the videos of Mr. Combs and Victim 1 to Mr. Combs' counsel with the attorney's possession only designation under the protective order. And these are Diddy's lawyers that signed this, and this document came out yesterday, went to all counsel. There it is, guys. Wow. What did we learn by reading that document? Well, a few things. We see that we have a pretty strong indication of how Diddy's defense is going to go. He's going to maintain his innocence, and he is going to claim that these attacks on him are sexist, and the government is trying to have a moral approach on keeping things clean and PG. He's going to show that in the videos that him and Victim 1, which is likely Cassie, just thinking about the timeline, that 6 of the 9 videos, the acts in those videos were consensual. We don't know about the final 3. I'm inferring that this could be Cassie because It showed that the government received these videos. These 9 videos came from victim 1 herself in December of 23. You got to remember, Cassie's lawsuit was settled in November of 23. Once that's settled, all those allegations went out to the public. Everybody read it. In December, what's happening next is the start of a criminal prosecution on the federal side. And that's why the Department of Homeland Security got involved, because there were allegations of sex trafficking, which includes, state lines, people coming from other countries, things of the like. I don't know. Who knows? But buckle up, guys. This is going to be pretty crazy over these next few weeks. And again, just looking at the trial schedule that I have so far, pre-trial motions are due February 17th, March 3rd, and we're going to see some replies on March 10th. The enterprise letter, this one's big, y'all. This one comes out on February 1. That means that we are going to see who else is involved in this case, right? Expert notices. So notices go out March 7th, March 14th, and March 21st. And then Rule 404B and 413 notices go out on March 7th. Motions are coming in April, and then here we go. We start Cinco de Diddy, his trial on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. And so far, it looks like we are on schedule. I do have a few other things for you guys. We're going to read some super chats, and then I have 2 articles that we're going to look at. A little bit of a Gene Deal thing. Everyone's asking if it's going to be televised. What you have to understand is that this is a federal case. Typically, federal cases are not televised, but don't worry. Your girl AV has been getting her gear, got a production team, getting all our lenses. We are getting ready, because one of my big goals for you guys is to leave this studio and go out in the world and go and participate in these trials. We have a packed schedule, Diddy being one of them. So me and my production team are going to be going across the country, actually going and talking to people involved in this case. A big thing with the YSL trial, and what I loved about how it ended, is that I was able to bring attorneys on and have meaningful conversations with them. I'd love to do that in person, right? So we have earmarked our budget, and we're going to be preparing for it. But every other month, we're going to be traveling to other states to bring you guys content from the ground. So I'm not going to stop trial stream. We're still going to do it. But there will be times where you'll see me on, in front of a courthouse, at crime scenes, figuring out what's going on, talking to people. Really like talking to people. Karen Reed is happening, so we're starting our filming on that, right? We're talking to a lot of people involved in that case. Starting now, we're filming episode 2 this weekend. February, the YSL, I think the remaining defendants happen. So we'll see what happens with that. March, we're going to Nevada. Keefe D's trial's happening. The Tupac trial's happening. Donna Adelson, that's happening in Florida. Diddy, New York City. We'll be down in New York, and Cinco de Diddy will be there and leading up to it. Melly's trials in October. We'll be down to Florida again. So we just want to really elevate the way that we bring you guys content. I don't care about numbers anymore. I care about delivery. So that is one of my big things this year. I'm really excited about it. It's like my New Year's resolution. Let's come to some super chats and let's see what else is going on in the world of the diddler. Again, huge shout out to Petty LaBelle with the super generous super chat. Hope you're doing well. Shout out to Henry Resilient with the 5, says Diddy has about 10 people going to testify against victim 1, aka Cassie, that they were at the freak offs. Interesting. And guys, Henry Resilient is a content creator. If any of the mods are hanging around, if you could drop the link to his channel, and if you're interested, check him out. He's really, really good at live streaming. He does talk a lot about some of these major court issues as well. So check out Henry if you haven't already. But yes, that's interesting, Henry. I did not know that he has about 10 testifying against victim 1. And my other question is, who are the other victims? That's why I cannot wait until this enterprise letter drops. But I just don't want the government to pull any funny business where they redact certain things. We might see that. Thank you so much, Henry. Deanra's in the building with the 2, says Diddy might get the Epstein before trial. Well, I think I told you guys, was it 2 or 3 streams ago? I have a few sources in New York, some of which are in the jail system. Apparently Diddy's chilling And he's always got like, he's paying people back in commissaries and all this stuff. So I don't know. That's the word on the street. I don't know how factual that is, but that is what people have been saying. Shout out to Just Lee. Thank you so much, Just Lee. I hope you're doing well, sis. She gifts 5 AV memberships. Thank you so much, Just Lee. If you received a membership from Just Lee, please say thank you to her. She is super sweet. She almost does this on every stream, and it's fantastic. And you just reminded me, Just Lee, you know what I can do now as a creator? I can gift memberships to you guys every month. We used to do it more with the YSL trial. So for this stream, I'm going to give out 5 right now. There it is. 5 of you guys got memberships. And Just Lee just inspired me to gift you guys my monthly membership that I can give you as a creator as well. So thank you so much. Just Lee paying it forward with 5 more. Dion is back with another 2, says, so the raids were for show? Really? I mean, that's Diddy went, their legal team is going aggressive with this moral thing and the government trying to be super moral and, like saying that freak offs are dirty. Let me come to y'all in the chat too to see where you are with the poll. When you hear the term freak off, does it sound dirty to you? 81% of you guys say yes. 19% of y'all say no. Okay, that's good to know. That is good to know. Let's keep going. Shout out to Spittin' Fire, sis. Good to see you. Also, another content creator. If y'all want to check her out, she says the government is more corrupt. Yeah, and she has a few comments here. E Capone, thank you with the 5. Says free Diddy. Okay, E Capone is he's on the free Diddy train. And E Capone, I got your message indirectly through somebody else yesterday. It's just been busy, so at some point we will get in touch. Thank you so much. E Capone. Spittin' Fire's back again with another 5. Says just because they fought doesn't mean he's guilty of other stuff. That's true. I mean, I haven't seen anything about the international trafficking. That's what I'm very curious about as far as evidence, but it's the government. So they are keeping everything close to the vest, but they released the Cassie footage to CNN. They released that. Interesting play. And I don't know if they were doing that to really push Diddy, but they did release that. That was a government. That wasn't a leak. It's like, hey, CNN, Diddy, you don't want to come clean? You don't want to come clean? Look at this coercion. Hey, CNN, here's this video. You're welcome. Like crazy. So thank you so much, Spittin' Fire. She's back with another 5, says, because he's freaking, not a crime. That is going to be the approach that I think Diddy's defense team is going to take in this case. And we will see if they are successful in convincing a jury that that was the case. Thank you so much, Spitting Fire. Michelle became a new member. Welcome, Michelle. You're going to love it here. It's always fun. And I always recognize your name. So good to see you. And then shout out to me gifting you guys 5 memberships for free. Michelle's back with another 2, says, did you see he was refusing to leave his cell? Yes. And there was also something while I was away on our creators retreat, there was also something with an investigator that's been wanting to search his cell for items. And I don't know if it's connected to this larger case or something else, but we will continue digging a little bit deeper on that one. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. What we're going to do right now, I'm going to jump and stay on the Diddy topic, but we're slightly going to shift gears because another big piece of news that's happening with Diddy is that there is a series of 2 documentaries that are coming out. One is on Peacock and the other is on the ID network. And it's causing a stir because a lot of information that's included in these documentaries are coming out. Now, do we think that the legal teams on both sides, the state, or in this case, the government, the prosecution team, and the defense are going to use some of these pieces? It's interesting because everybody and their mother is doing documentaries on Diddy. But let us go to a Vulture article where they talk about it a little bit more, and we can see some of the serious allegations that were made within these documentaries. Let me zoom in so that way y'all could follow along at home. These are disturbing takeaways from Peacock's Diddy documentary. The indulge of the Diddy docs has continued with Peacock's Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy, Released on January 14th. So it's actually was released yesterday. So if y'all haven't seen it, check it out. I'm going to watch it tonight. The 90-minute documentary includes allegations of abuse and misconduct against Diddy and features interviews with multiple people, including a past bodyguard, we know it's Gene Deal, a childhood friend, a former bad boy employee, an accuser, and more, who recalled knowing and working with him throughout his life. Singer Al B. Shore also spoke in the documentary about his ex Kim Porter's relationship with Diddy, who is currently in prison awaiting trial on charges of trafficking and racketeering. So that's a lot. We know it's Gene Deal. There's a childhood friend, a former bad boy employee, an accuser. That's crazy. And I heard that Little Rod might be in this documentary as well. Little Rod, if you guys don't know, was the person that kind of started this trend with photos and lawsuits. We did cover that earlier last year, but we know that Little Rod came out and made some serious allegations against Diddy as well, not paying him, things of the like. And as a man, he had been making some allegations against him as well. The disgraced music mogul also faces many lawsuits, over 40, and had denied all allegations against him, including the claims made in Peacock's making of the bad boy. Combs unequivocally denies the baseless allegations being circulated in connection with this documentary, according to a statement from his attorneys to the filmmakers. In a statement to the Hollywood Reporter, a representative for Diddy added, "This documentary recycles and perpetuates the same lies and conspiracy theories that have been slung against Mr. Combs for months." The statement went on to criticize the documentary as irresponsible journalism of the worst kind for allowing proven liars and opportunists to make false criminal accusations. All right, let's talk about Al B. Shore. Al B. Shore remembers Kim Porter, warning that getting involved with Diddy would get him killed. Singer Al B. Shore had a son with Kim Porter before she started dating Diddy. In the documentary, Shore alleged that Porter once told him to keep his distance from Combs. Kim said, "Don't get involved. You will get killed." That is a quote. He claimed, adding that he couldn't provide more details due to ongoing legal proceedings. Shore hinted that Porter, who died in 2018, was trying to save him and claimed she was also putting her life in danger. He raised suspicion about the circumstances of her death, oh my God, which an autopsy report ruled was due to pneumonia. The documentary notes that there has been no official evidence of foul play or unnatural causes to Porter's death, and points to a statement from Porter and Combs' children calling such rumors false and hurtful. Shore also seemingly suggested that his own health struggles were connected to foul play. Damn. Claiming that multiple people were sent to assist in the attempted murder of Al B. Shore. The tea is getting hot, you guys. Wow. Multiple people think that Combs abused Porter. Gene Deal, a former bodyguard for Combs, claimed that he was once called to rush over to a hospital, recalling that Porter appeared to be bruised. Deal claimed that he could tell that Diddy had roughed her up on other occasions. The documentary notes that there is still no evidence that Porter was a victim of domestic violence. Still, other interviewees also alleged that Combs abused Porter. An attorney for a client who is suing Combs claimed that the client witnessed acts of violence against Porter. Allegedly, Combs physically attacked Cassie in a hotel years before the infamous surveillance video. Combs had previously apologized for assaulting Cassie in the 2016 surveillance footage from an LA hotel. In the documentary, Myla Morales, a former makeup artist for Diddy, detailed an alleged incident with Cassie at a Beverly Hills hotel in 2010. She's coming out with her name. According to Morales, Combs was angry that his then girlfriend had left to go to a party and barged into the room where they were staying after midnight. Morales said that Diddy and Cassie went to another room and shut the door. She alleged that Cassie came out with knots on her head, a busted lip, and she was just beat up. Morales said Cassie told her that she wanted to keep what happened quiet. Diddy groped a former The Band member and berated her bandmates. Sarah Rivers, a former The Band member who appeared in MTV's Making the Band from 2002 to 2004, alleged that Diddy touched her in a place he shouldn't have when she was alone. After the inappropriate incident, she said it made her feel intimidated. Rivers called not wanting to be around Combs unless cameras were present. She also claimed that Combs once said that one of her band members on the show made him so mad that he wanted to eat their flesh. According to Rivers, he allegedly told another bandmate that he would pay a crackhead $20 to smack the shit out of them for rolling their eyes. Diddy's wild. Combs once spent a night with 2 underage girls, a former Bad Boy employee claims. Oh my God, I can't wait to watch this documentary. A former Bad Boy record label employee who said he first met Diddy in 2015 or 2016 recalled being sent on missions to recruit girls to come to his parties. According to the employee, every Diddy party turned into a freak off, and any red lighting in the studio or rooms was because Diddy felt like that was the frequency for having sex. The employee alleged he once saw Diddy go into a room with 2 girls who were for sure underage, and he didn't come out for 24 hours. Diddy's lawyers denied that he ever assaulted minors. The employee's voice was altered in the documentary because he feared retaliation. He claimed to have witnessed very violent behavior from Diddy, who he alleged threatened him about leaving Bad Boy. He also alleged that Diddy once showed him videos of 2 men getting it on, telling him that's what people do to get to the top of their industry. Ooh, wow. Diddy's mother, I heard about this. So Diddy's mother allegedly threw parties that exposed the young Diddy to sex, alcohol, and pimps. Tim Patterson, a childhood friend of Diddy, reflected on his experience living with Combs in his New York home when they were younger. According to Patterson, Diddy's mother, Janice, allegedly held parties where it wouldn't be a thing to mistakenly walk into one of the bedrooms and see butt-naked people. That is what we were privy to. This is what we were fed. Was it desensitizing us? I'm sure it was. Were we aware of it? No, it was just a Saturday night. Patterson, who said he defended Diddy from being bullied while growing up, said that frequent weekend partying at his childhood home exposed Diddy to alcohol and marijuana. According to Patterson, attendees of these wild parties included drug addicts, pimps, and pushers. Diddy held a woman at knife point, raped her, and gang raped her in 2018. One of Diddy's accusers, identified as Ashley, appeared in the documentary without showing her face. She claimed that Diddy once told her she would pay for mentioning rumors that he was involved in Tupac's death. You know, let's talk about that for a second. Keffe D's trial is coming. Keffe D right now is on trial for murdering Tupac Shakur. I know, 30-year-old murder. Like it's happening in March. And Keffe D mentioned that Diddy offered to pay him to take out Tupac and Suge. And Keffe D and team allegedly moved forward with that, and that Diddy never paid. So that's the thing. I want to see how this comes out in both trials, and in March for Keffe D's trial and in May for Diddy's trial. Let's see if anything about Tupac comes up, but it is interesting that this woman is saying that as well. She alleged that in March of 2018, Combs held a knife inside of her mouth, then violently raped her with a TV remote. Ashley claimed that Combs and multiple individuals in his entourage then raped her for hours, while an employee told Ashley that they can sell her to anyone in the world and she would never see her parents or loved ones again. She suggested that the police did not properly investigate when she filed a report and described becoming incredibly reclusive afterward. That's it, guys. That's what's in this documentary. So there are a lot of allegations here, but that's just one. We don't even know about some of the other things that are coming out in the other one. But it's on Peacock. It's called Making of a Bad Boy. Allegedly, there's more. I want to keep going. I mean, there's more. There's more. But before we do, let me just grab this one. Shout out to Drew Beats. Good to see you, Drew. Hope you're having a great time in Vegas. Maybe I'll see you soon in Vegas with the 5. Says Happy New Year, AV. Shout out to the Capricorns. Any updates on the OnlyFans model who killed her boyfriend with a knife? Yes, he's talking about Courtney Clenny. That's also a Miami case. They changed the dates on that one a lot. We try to check the docket a lot, pretty frequently just to keep up with it. But I did see her in court, I think it was a few weeks ago, but as of now, we don't have a trial date. I will double check though, and then get back to you guys so you know. But Courtney Clenny is her name. She's an OnlyFans model. Threw a knife across the room, and it punctured an artery in this man's chest, and he bled out and died. It's pretty sad. And yeah, she's trying to say that it was self-defense, but we have video footage of her being super, super aggressive and abusive towards this guy who was a victim in that crime. So that might be another idea for a documentary that we do. But yeah, that's the update on that one. But thank you so much, Drew Beats. Okay, let's keep going because there's another article. There's just more. So a lot of this is coming from Gene Deal, and this is a New York Post article, came out yesterday. And it says that Gene Deal is saying that Diddy could have been involved in Biggie's death in a new doc. So 28 years after his death at 24, the unsolved murder of Biggie remains a notorious mystery. The new documentary, Making of a Bad Boy, which premiered on Peacock yesterday, addresses rumors that the disgraced hip-hop mogul might have been involved in the drive-by shooting of his prize rap protege on March 9th, 1997. So did he have something to do with it? He could have, says Gene Deal, who is one of the members of the inner circle interviewed in that doc that arrives as the jailed star-born Sean Combs awaits his trial. Deal, who worked for Diddy, was with his then boss and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame the night of his murder after Vibe magazine's post-Soul Train Awards party in LA. In the Making of a Bad Boy, he claims that Diddy was allegedly acting suspiciously in the days before the murder. The week in which Biggie was murdered, he was just acting real anxious and trying to get big at this party. And what was crazy was Big was telling people he had to be in London, but Puff was telling people he ain't going to London that whole week. Deal recalls being surprised to find out about the Vibe party on the same night. Here's a quote. I'm sitting up at the Beverly Hills Hotel and I get a phone call. It's 9 o'clock and they say, Gene, get ready. We're going to the Vibe party. He shares, I was like, we going to this party? We don't have no security. Deal laid out his reasons for thinking that going to the party was a bad idea 6 months after the East Coast, West Coast rap rivalry escalated with Tupac's murder, in which both Diddy and Biggie were rumored to have been involved. He says, I say, yo, Puff, I got some intel, bruh. He said, what? He says, yo, man, if we go to this party tonight, one of us is going to get killed. Somebody going to die because now we at East Coast, West Coast beef, says Deal. He said, yo, Gene, I don't want to hear that shit. So we all jump in the car. Deal details what happened after leaving the Vibe party and heading to another Soul Train Awards party in 2 separate cars. He goes, I was in the car with Puff. Big was in his own car. And the next thing you know, you hear the gunshots, he recalls. Many a year, Deal says, I couldn't fight back the tears knowing that a young man was murdered. Biggie and Diddy performed together on the 1997 hit More Money, More Problems. I told them, whatever y'all do, do not let him go to sleep. Talk to him, keep him up. Do not let him sleep, keep him talking. After Biggie was shot 4 times while sitting in his Suburban, they told the hypnotized rapper that they were rushing him to the hospital. And Big said, just do it. That was the last thing I heard Big say, says Gene Deal. And they said the hospital was 2 blocks away, and it was the longest 2 blocks I've ever had in my life. Once they got to the medical center, Deal broke it to Diddy that the news was not good. So Puff ran out the hospital door and grabbed my arm. He said, Gene, we got to pray. We got to pray. We got to pray. And I knocked his hands off me. I said, pray for what? The ninja's dead, bruh. He was just stunned, and it seemed like he had this look in his eyes that he couldn't believe it and that he was dead. He couldn't believe it. Making of a Bad Boy makes it clear that Diddy has always denied having any involvement with the murders of Biggie and Tupac. Diddy's attorneys also responded to the allegations. Sean Combs unequivocally denies the baseless allegations being circulated in connection with this documentary. We were really careful about making sure that we weren't saying necessarily that these things happen or that these things are necessarily true, says the executive producer on this documentary. But he added, it fell off. Something didn't feel right. It felt like there's more to the story. So Uncle Gene is out here kind of like talking about this story in a different way, you know? It's very interesting. It's very interesting. But that's what we have on that. Thank you guys for joining us for a quick power hour. Here's our schedule for right now. A lot of people have expressed interest in us doing a Karen Reed trial rewatch. It's a 30-day trial. There's a lot of half days. We can Zoom through it. It's just a matter of when we want to start. So we'll try to start that later this week. We are doing a lot of filming out in the field where the work is real. We're doing more of that this weekend. We're going to be filming episode 2 for y'all. We can't wait to drop episode 1 and just show you some of the projects that we're working on. This film crew is an amazing group of brothers. Like there's about 5 of them, and they just know what they're doing. So I cannot wait to start sharing some of that content. Of course, we're still going to be trial streaming on all this stuff. We're looking at this Diddy case very closely because, as mentioned with that schedule, it's going to start heating up. You know, it's definitely going to start heating up. But anywho, I am going to pop on out of here. I want to thank everybody that donated to today's stream. It was a quick power hour. You know, it's a quick one. But I definitely want to thank a girl from Texas, Patty LaBelle, Henry Resilient for stopping in, Deonra, Just Lee, Spitting Fire, E. Capone. So many of you guys donated to the stream. Michelle was a member. I dropped 5 memberships just so you guys have them, right? And then Drew Beats for making an appearance as well. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump out of here. We will be back tomorrow with either a legal power hour or we're going to get started with Karen Reed. Either way, stay safe out there. See you in the next one. Bye.